All good. And so we'll just dive right in with the first question of what made you run for Boise mayor?
Well, I wasn't happy with the direction that I saw the city moving in. We seem to have quite a few people who are feeling left out, who are unhappy and feeling like the city isn't listening. So I want to change the way we do business at City Hall. I want to take proposals and ideas out to the public early in the process and get public input often, early and often. And I want to take the meetings out to the citizens. There's no reason why we can't have workshops and open houses and even city council meetings outside of downtown Boise, because it's difficult for people to get there. So I want to change the way we do business. I also believe that our city leaders have lost focus on what's important. When you have folks who are being forced to sell their homes because they can no longer afford the property taxes, that's a problem. To me, that means someone's not paying attention. When you have other things come up like city employees using City Hall West for a political action committee headquarters, that's a problem. That's misuse of public assets. So somebody's not paying attention. So we need to get back to what's the basic purpose of government and where should our focus be. Let it be on taking care of the people and taking care of the basic services that government is supposed to provide.
And so you touched on this just a little bit, but I'll ask you, a question if you want to expand on it. Some of the problems that you feel are facing the city and your solutions to those.
Overspending is a huge issue, and property taxes are too high, which is a result of overspending partially. So we need to fix that. And there are several ways to do that. I think we need to, with regard to property taxes, yes, look at the homeowners exemption, work with the legislature to try to get that indexed to provide relief to homeowners. But that's not the whole solution. That just shifts the taxes to someone else, and it doesn't do anything to assist people who are renting. Because people who are renting, when the landlord gets a property tax increase, it's going to get passed on to the renters. So we have to look at overall spending and reduce or freeze overall spending in order to keep the property taxes low. There's no reason why the city of Boise should be taking the maximum allowable property tax increase every single year. It just should not be happening. And the fact that we suddenly find out that there's a $50 million slush fund for a library tells me we're paying too much in taxes. So one of the things I want to do immediately is look at every single department, look at every position the city has, and decide, okay, are these necessary and appropriate positions? And if they're not, then they're gone. Look at every expense that we have and figure out, is this providing basic services and the things that we need for our citizens, and is the money being spent appropriately? I think it's going to take some work to get there, but it's certainly doable. And I'm a practicing attorney. I'm a former CPA, and I have a master's in business administration and success in the business world. So I understand budgets, and I understand how to put a budget together and how to take one apart to figure out when something's not working appropriately.
And of course, one of the biggest topics here with Boise is the growth. So what do you think of all of this recent growth it's having?
It's a dilemma because we are seeing more and more traffic congestion. We're seeing more and more problems with people being unable to afford homes here because the supply isn't there. So we do have to take a look at how we're planning for growth. And that's going to require coordinated planning between all the cities and the county, and probably the two-county area, to figure out where the most appropriate places are to encourage employers to go. Where are appropriate places for density? We already have a plan in place that Boise has largely ignored, but there's a plan in place with ACHD, VRT, and Boise City for the State Street Corridor for transit-oriented development. Put higher density along the transit nodes. But it's gonna take some work, and it's gonna take some coordinating planning between all of the agencies. We also have to pay attention to the plans that are already in place. One of the reasons we have so much traffic congestion is that the cities have comprehensive plans, and ACHD prepares its 20-year capital improvements plan on those comprehensive plans. Well, when you have a city that suddenly says, okay, instead of 2 units per acre on this property, we're going to stick in a 300-unit apartment complex, that throws the transportation plans off. So we have to pay attention to the plans that are in place. And are they written in stone? No, but you have to think about the consequences when you deviate from those plans or when you choose to change them. You have to think about the consequences for other places. Things like the proposal to shoehorn a stadium into downtown Boise. We don't have the infrastructure for that. It makes no sense to try to do that. And it certainly was not on anybody's plan, and it's not needed, frankly. If a stadium is a good idea, then let private development pay for it. I don't think taxpayer dollars should be used for things like stadiums.
And so if elected mayor, what new ideas will you bring to the table?
Get us back to basics. It's not really a new idea, but it's something that the current administration has lost focus on. We need a fire station in Northwest Boise. That was identified quite some time ago, and yet it still hasn't been built. Why is that? So we have to take the focus back to what are we supposed to be doing as a city government? What's our appropriate function? It's not chasing the next top 10 list. It's not building impressive, grandiose buildings in downtown Boise to impress visitors. It's taking care of our citizens' needs without breaking their wallets. So things like police protection. We don't have enough police officers. If you look at Boise's own studies, it shows that we're at least 50 officers short. I've talked with police officers in the field who are concerned that there aren't enough officers to cover certain shifts. Well, we can't have gaps in coverage. It's too important to our citizens to have adequate police protection. You know, crime statistics are down, but are those statistics really accurate if it's a non-emergency property crime? Some of those are not being reported, because if you call for a non-emergency officer, you may wait hours and hours and hours. Is that the police department's fault? No. It's the fault of the administration for not providing adequate officers. We have a tremendous problem in this valley with speeding, with distracted driving, speeding in neighborhoods, people driving through crosswalks, ignoring bus stop signals. We don't have the law enforcement officers to do anything about traffic enforcement. I've talked with law enforcement, and they just say we don't have the resources to take care of that. Again, is that a criticism of law enforcement? No, absolutely not. It's a criticism of the administration that isn't paying attention to spending our resources appropriately. So we have to fix some of those things. People are dying because you've got people running red lights, and every intersection these days, when the light turns green, I wait, because I know there are going to be 3 or 4 cars that go through the intersection. So we have to pay attention to the basics, and things like the downtown library, the vanity projects that we've seen, that the citizens don't seem to want. That tells me that we've got to bring in some different ideas, and we've got to focus on what is city government really supposed to do, and it's take care of our citizens.
Okay. And last question, your vision for the city over the next 20 years?
I envision a city where we have continued to protect our quality of life. We are so blessed here to have a clean environment, to have the safety that we have. I've lived in other cities. I lived in St. Louis, Missouri for a while, and I can tell you the river running through town was brown, and probably still is. The air smelled bad. I mean, it just smelled bad year round. So we are blessed to have the things that we have, and we need to make sure that we are working to protect that. So I envision a city where we continue to enjoy the quality of life that we have, and we have a place for everyone, that it's affordable for people to live here. It's affordable if you're a senior who's been in your home for 30 or 40 years, for you to be able to stay there because you don't have to worry about this enormous tax bill that you can't afford. So, I envision a city where people are happy, healthy, and feel like they're getting what they need from their city.
Okay. Perfect. And those are the 5 questions we have for you.
Okay.